Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another video where I rank the albums of my favourite bands from worst to best. Today is so exciting because I'm going to be ranking the albums of one of my all-time favourite bands, Porcupine Tree. This was really difficult to do because the one thing that's so great about Porcupine Tree is that none of their albums are the same. They're all so different, but they're all so good. Like, honestly, not even one of their albums sounds similar to the last one, and that is why I love them so much. So this ranking was pretty difficult, but I think I've done it now. There's one that is like a clear last that I definitely like least in all of the others, and then there's one that is a clear favourite and has always been my favourite. And then all the ones in the middle are albums I love but for completely different reasons, so I'm gonna talk you through them now. And if you're a Porcupine Tree fan, please let me know your ranking in the comments, because I'd be interested to know, because I know everyone hears these albums so differently. So I re-listened to all of them in preparation for this video numerous times, and in last place for me is gonna be the debut album 1992's On the Sunday of Life. So at this point, Porcupine Tree was just Steven Wilson. There were no other band members, so these are all his vision and his ideas, and this isn't a bad album by any means. I just think that the ones that came after it were just much better. This one doesn't really have a clear vision in the same way that the other albums do. It's very experimental, which isn't a bad thing. Some of the songs are just kind of all over the place and not very cohesive. Like, it kind of just jumps from one idea to the next, and a lot of the songs are instrumental and have like weird kind of sound effects, but it is still a very good album. It genuinely is. I really love the psychedelic aspect, and I love like the distorted vocals. Radioactive Toy is a pretty good song. I know a lot of people tend to agree that that is probably the best song on the album. It's got some really nice guitar parts. The song Jupiter Island is also a pretty good one, and Nine Cats is another good one. I mean, this is just like a very trial and error kind of album. Like, some things work and some things don't. So in ninth place, we've got 1996's Signify. This was the first Porcupine Tree album to actually feature a full band, and you can really tell the difference. The songs are a lot more focused and kind of united, I guess. There's less psychedelic aspects, but they are still there a little bit. And there are some really great instrumental tracks. The title track, Signify, is a pretty good one. It's got these like really hard-hitting guitar riffs. And then Idiot Prayer is a pretty good instrumental song as well. It's about 7-8 minutes long, and it's full of like space rocky kind of themes. And Sleep of No Dreaming is a really good song as well. I love the chorus on that one. Honestly, this is a really good album, and if it's one that you would personally put higher on your list, I completely understand that. It's very unique and very full of good ideas. The last track on the album, Dark Matter, is another good one. I love the lyrics. They're very like cryptic and very clever, and I really like the subtle vocal harmonies on that song as well. So in 8th place, we've got 1993's Up the Downstairs. This is an interesting one for me. I didn't love it straight away, but over like the months and years or whatever, it's really grown on me. It's clearly very Pink Floyd / David Gilmour's guitar inspired, and the guitar work on this album is a real highlight for me. The production on this album is also very good. It's definitely a step up from On the Sunday of Life. But as much as I do love this album, I just can't rank it any higher just because I prefer the other ones much more. The best song for me on this album is probably the song Burning Sky. It builds so nicely throughout the whole song, and then it's got like this incredible climax, and I just cannot get enough of the drums. So yeah, all in all, a really solid album. So in 7th place, we've got the band's final album, 2009's The Incident. This was one again that took a few listens to grow on me. It took me listening quite a few times from start to finish before I really got it, but now it is one that I really enjoy. I think this one gets a little bit of an unfair rap. I know that a lot of people rank this one quite low on their rankings, and a lot of people aren't really keen on it. And while I agree, it's not as innovative and creative as some of the previous albums, I still think it's a really solid album. Side 1 is basically a 55-minute long epic, but it's more like a collection of songs really. It's not like some of the other epics that they've done, like Anesthetize or like The Sky Moves Sideways phase 1 and 2. It's not really like that. It is more of a collection of songs, but it still works really well listening to it from start to finish. There are some really catchy and really memorable moments of side 1, The Blind House, Kneel and Disconnect, Time Flies, all really catchy, all really great songs. Lyrically, as with most Porcupine Tree albums, it's pretty dark and morbid. There's a lot of things about like a car crash, there's some things about a cult, and lots of other like morbid things, but I guess you can kind of expect that with any song written by Steven Wilson. But overall, I really enjoy this album. Maybe it's because I wasn't a fan when it came out because I'm not old enough, so I didn't feel the disappointment that a lot of fans felt when this first came out. Maybe that's why. Anyway, in 6th place, and I already know that this one isn't going to be an unpopular opinion, so I apologise in advance, but it is 2005's Dead Wing. Usually people rank this one a lot higher. I know it's some people's favourite. I think my dad's really keen on this one, but I've just never like connected with this one as much as I have the others. I don't know if it's because like this album is sandwiched in between two absolute masterpieces. Maybe that's why I can't like connect to it as much. And I sound like a broken record, but this is still a really good album. It's a little bit heavier than anything they'd done up until that time. There's some really like crashing guitar riffs. I really love the guitar riff in the song Shallow, and I love the chorus in that song as well. I also love the song Halo. It's got these really like heavy, intense guitar riffs, and I'm a big fan of metal, so I'm always going to be happy with things like that. And there are also some more mellow moments like the song Lazarus and the absolutely hauntingly beautiful Arriving Somewhere But Not Here. And lastly, I have 2 words: Gavin Harrison. What an unbelievable talent. His drumming is just absolutely fantastic, and it's such a highlight of the album for me. So yeah, another great album. Coming in at 5th place, we have got 1995's The Sky Moves Sideways. This is an album I genuinely adore, and I feel bad that I'm even putting it this low because I love it so much, but it just shows how much I love the other ones, I guess. This really is a masterpiece though. It's such a great piece of work, and it really just showcases the talent that Steven Wilson has and how well he can work with the right musicians. The opening track, The Sky Moves Sideways, is just sublime. It takes you on such a journey. It is 18 minutes of just heaven. Absolutely incredible music. And the closing track, The Sky Moves Sideways Phase 2, is just as good. It's extremely atmospheric. I love how it's got this very kind of moody vibe, but then there's these like beautiful quiet like guitar instrumental sections. So dreamy, and it's so easy to get lost in the music, even though I'm pretty sure the full length, like the running time of the album, is 1.5 hours. It really just does not feel like that at all. And I really do just love this album so much. It's one that I can never get bored of because every time you listen to it, it's so layered and so complex. Like you're always noticing new things when you listen to it. Just stunning. So 4th place for me is going to be 1999's Stupid Dream. I think this was their best-selling album. Like, I'm not sure about the numbers now, but like at the time, I think this was the best-selling. I'm not 100% sure. But for me, I loved this album from the very first time I heard it. It didn't need any time to grow on me. I just loved it. It's very poppy and, okay, not very poppy. That's probably unfair, but it's more accessible than any other Porcupine Tree album, I would say, but that doesn't mean that it has any less substance. These are really well written songs. I love the lyrics to the song Piano Lessons and also the song A Smart Kid, but this album doesn't miss for me. It really doesn't. Every single song is great. Obviously I like some more than others, but I genuinely think every song brings something really special to the album. I also think the song, the opening track Even Less, is probably one of the best opening tracks on a Porcupine Tree album, apart from maybe Blackest Eyes, but the guitar is just insane on Even Less. I just love it. I really love the chorus to the song Piano Lessons. I love when Steven harmonizes with himself. I just think his voice is beautiful. Pure Narcotic is another great one. Stranger by the Minute is a fantastic song. Honestly, I think this album is just a dream, to be honest, but not a stupid dream, obviously. It's accessible so that people that aren't like prog fans can enjoy it, but it's also still got these like complex structures and complex instrumentals, and then the just unbelievable musicianship that makes Porcupine Tree so good. So I think it's really got that great mix, and I do think this one gets a bit of an unfair time sometimes. I feel like I've seen a few people say like negative things about this album, but I just think it is like amazing. So in 3rd place, we've got my beloved 2000s Lightbulb Sun. In my opinion, this album has some of the best songs that Porcupine Tree ever released. The songs are so strong. Every song is so ridiculously good, but I have to talk about one song that I just can't even talk about this song. I love it so much. This is easily top 3 Porcupine Tree song for me, and it is Last Chance to Evacuate Planet Earth Before It Is Recycled. Oh my god, the last 2 minutes of that song could revive me from the dead. If I'm ever in a coma or dying, just get that song on and I will come back to life. I'm laughing at myself, but it's true. Like, the last 2 minutes, the bass is insane. I'm not even joking. I've recently got a new subwoofer for my record player, and that was one of the first songs that I played on it, because the bass, now I've got the ability to like turn the bass up and down and stuff now with my subwoofer. And when I listen to that song, I put the bass up as high as it can go for the last 2 minutes, and it literally sends me into another stratosphere. Thank you, Colin Edwin. So that's my favourite song, but apart from that, I think the opening track, Lightbulb Sun, is a great one as well. The Rest Will Flow is a really beautiful tune. Hate Song, an absolute classic. Russia on Ice, complete masterpiece. This album from start to finish is just incredible. I love it. My second place choice is gonna have to be, drumroll, 2002's In Absentia. Truly a perfect album from start to finish, genuinely perfect. The album starts off with the song Blackest Eyes, which has one of the best opening guitar riffs I've ever heard. I'm pretty sure that this was the first album with Gavin Harrison on drums, and he just shines through so much. The drumming is incredible on every single song. I love Gavin Harrison. Also, the lyrics are great on this one. It really like delves into the worst parts of the human psyche. When you really listen to some of the songs and listen to the lyrics, they're quite unsettling, which I love things like that. The production is superb. Stephen's voice is extremely soothing and beautiful, especially like the vocal harmonies that he does with himself, as I mentioned earlier. I love that. And on the song Trains, which is just, Trains is just out of this world to me. Definitely another top 3 Porcupine Tree song. The Sound of Music is also on this album, which is a pretty well-known song. I think it was like their kind of breakout hit, I suppose. And it's one that Stephen still plays live at his concerts even now, and you can honestly see why, because it really is just a joy. That line, music of rebellion makes you want to rage, but it's made by millionaires at nearly twice your age, is just, every time I listen to that, I'm like, who is coming up with that? Like, it's just crazy. I also love Gravity Eyelids, Prodigal, Wedding Nails, which is a great instrumental song. I could literally just name every song, to be honest, which I'm not going to do, but I could, because they're all so amazing. And this album will just always and forever have a really, really special place in my heart. I just love it. So I'm sure you've guessed by now, my number 1 favourite Porcupine Tree album is 2007's Fear of a Blank Planet. I think the reason it's my favourite is because it's the first one I heard. I have a lot of love for it because I will never ever forget the first time I heard it. I've told this story before, I think, but one night I was really struggling to sleep, so I just had my like earphones in, I was just like on my phone and stuff, and for some reason like the urge took me to go and listen to Fear of a Blank Planet, even though I'd never listened to it before, but I kept seeing the album cover everywhere, and I love the album cover, so I was really intrigued by it. So I just put it on, like I was just lying in bed at 4 o'clock in the morning, it's pitch black, and I just lay there and I listened to the whole thing from start to finish, and it made me so like uncomfortable. I was like, what the hell is this? Like, what am I listening to? And that was just like an amazing experience. The first time I heard the song Way Out of Here, I was like, what? Just every song is so good. There is not one dull moment on this album. I love the whole concept. I love the album cover. I literally love everything about this album. The opening track, Fear of a Blank Planet, has some insane bass and guitar and really like great lyrics. I love the rhythm to it as well. The song My Ashes is so haunting and so beautiful. Way Out of Here is just incredible, with a chorus that is stuck in my head 24/7. But the crowning glory, the pièce de la résistance, the best song on the album is definitely the epic Anesthetize. To me, this is Stephen Wilson's masterpiece. I think it's like the best thing he's ever written. It's 18 minutes long. I spoke about it in my top prog epics video, so I'll link that down below if you haven't seen that. But in that video I called it my my favorite prog epic of all time, and I stick by that. Honestly, no other 18-minute long song can keep me as engaged as Anesthetize can. It's absolutely stunning and it just makes the album for me. But anyway, I can't rave about this album enough. It's one of my favorite albums of all time. It really impacted my life when I first heard it. I still listen to it all the time. I just love it. So there you go, that is my ranking of the Porcupine Tree albums from worst to best. As I said, please leave your rankings in the comments below because I'm really intrigued to see what you guys think of my ranking and how you would rank the albums. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll be back next week with another video.